Hello, and welcome to Ending Physician Overwhelm. I'm your host, Dr. Megan Mello. I'm a family and obesity medicine physician, as well as a certified life coach for physicians. In this podcast, we talk about how the learned habits of people-pleasing, perfectionism, and a lack of boundaries show up in our lives and how they contribute to burnout, exhaustion, and overwhelm. The healthcare system is broken, my friends, but let's not wait for it to be fixed in order to feel better. We are focusing on telomeres and stress, right? And kind of the impacts that stress has on our body and how do we counteract that. You can name your favorite body part. Don't pretend like you don't have a favorite body part. I know you do. You can think about a chronic disease state that you treat or an illness or an injury that you frequently see in your medical work. All parts of the body can benefit. There are studies out there on heart disease, on cancer or post-surgical related pain. There are studies that show laughter can help to improve these disease states. We do know that it improves cardiac output, it improves stroke volume, it improves oxygen delivery to the brain and other tissues throughout the body, right? It is literally good for us. Lowering cortisol, helping stress, right? Not kidding, literally good for you. All right, friends, be honest. When was the last time you peed your pants from laughter? I'm talking about full-on, full-body laughter. All right, funny, not funny, I know. Some of us, have been through some things that will cause us to pee our pants. But what we're focusing on here is full-body laughter. If you can't remember the time that you really lost control, even if we're not talking about peeing our pants, but that full-body sensation, laughing with your whole body, being just whole-body delighted, I want you to just picture a baby or a young child who is just rolling around on the floor, full body laughter, the joy and delight. If you have fur babies, imagine your dog who is just shaking with joy, jumping up and down, so excited to see you, just a big old slobbery mess. We are embracing laughter and play. Deep belly laughs, your face lit up with a huge smile, right? Joy and delight for their own sake. So if you are new here, we are in the middle of the 10-week recharge challenge. This is week 5. It's okay though. Keep listening and then you can go back and you can catch the other episodes. But there is a method behind our madness, and this week's challenge is literally fun, okay? But why are we doing this? You know that laughter and play feel fun. You know that it has a good effect on your mood and your energy, but it actually also improves our cellular health. As you know, in this challenge, we are focusing on telomeres and stress, right? And kind of the impacts that stress has on our body and how do we counteract that? Well, you can name your favorite body part. Don't pretend like you don't have a favorite body part. I know you do. You can think about a chronic disease state that you treat or an illness or an injury, right? That you frequently see in your medical work. All parts of the body can benefit. There are studies out there on heart disease, on cancer or post-surgical related pain, rheumatoid arthritis, hives, COPD. We probably do not understand the mechanism of action for all of these disease states, but there are studies that show laughter can help to improve these disease states. We do know that it improves cardiac output, it improves stroke volume, it improves oxygen delivery to the brain and other tissues throughout the body, right? It is literally good for us. Lowering cortisol, helping stress, right? Not kidding, literally good for you. And yet, how many of us really spend time cultivating laughter and play? We might laugh here and there. We might, play a crossword puzzle or wordle. But we're not really engaged with these things, probably. And so this week's challenge is all about getting more laughter and play into our lives. Intentional laughter and play, letting your whole body get into it. Full body laughter. Yes, you might pee your pants. Now, pelvic floor physical therapy, my friends, is incredibly helpful here, right? We really want to let ourselves go. Keeping it very simple. Your job is to laugh or play or both. That's it. I want you to find ways to laugh out loud every single day. It might mean that you listen to something that's really funny. It might mean you engage with laughter yoga, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. It might mean that you play a game or laugh with your kids. You could watch a baby laugh and just giggle with delight, right? It doesn't have to be complicated. We are just going to spend time laughing and playing. If that sounds hard, I've got you. You're in the right place. And I want you to pick a little daily commitment. Might be 2 minutes. That's enough. It might sound, if that sounds like no big deal, right? If you are just like, oh, I got this, I laugh all the time, you could choose to do more. You could choose to just keep it going, knowing that it's good for you, right? You could try playing if you don't play. Intentional laughter and play that you feel deeply in your body. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, ugh, I don't even know what to do, nothing seems good or funny right now, things seem really hard, this is even more important for us to do. There was a study that showed that people who laughed the least benefited the most. This was a laughter yoga tripping over my words here as usual. A laughter yoga study that showed that people who laughed the least had the most gain at the end of the study compared to people who naturally laughed more, right? So if you're like, ugh, I can't think of the last time I laughed, this is for you and I got you. So I knew that this week was coming. I designed the challenge, right? I wrote down what was going to happen every week. And I'll say, not super intentionally, but needless to say, I've known that we were going to do this challenge this particular week for about a month, but I didn't really dive into the literature until this week. And I was actually quite delighted by what I found because I was not aware of, kind of the deep literature that is out there. But I want to tell you a story, and this will take us down a path where we can start to jump in, even if you're like, I'm not sure how I'm going to do this challenge. So years ago, when I was a med student, this was back in 2005, my friends. I did a lot of rotations at our county hospital, which was a regional trauma center and regional burn center for a 5-state area. Right, it is a serious place. There are seriously ill people here. But every Friday, it was scone day. And every Friday, as we were all standing in line for scones, and we were all standing in line for scones, they were that good, you'd hear peals of laughter coming from downstairs. It was only on Friday mornings, and I just couldn't figure it out. I was like, why is everything so funny on Friday mornings? I don't get it. Eventually, somebody told me that it was the laughter yoga group, and I don't remember what expression was on my face or what I might have said about it, but I was like, okay, probably walked off. Now, I would have been in my short white coat. It was all stuffed, right, with my guidebooks and my stethoscope and, my sign outs, right? I had serious business to do, right? I didn't go check it out. I sure wish I did, but that was laughter yoga. And I don't know exactly who was included. I don't know if it was staff. I imagine that it was at least some patients, but that mystery remains. But laughter yoga is this practice where you can laugh about things that aren't even funny on purpose and still get the benefits, because it turns out your body doesn't know the difference. Now, if you're like, why wouldn't I laugh at something funny? Go laugh at something funny. No problem. But if you don't want to go and find something funny, just to say you can still get the benefits of laughter just from practicing laughter. And that's really what laughter yoga is. Laughter yoga was created all the way back in 1995. We're dating ourselves a little bit here, by Dr. Madan Kataria in India. And he created it knowing that our bodies will benefit from laughter, even if we don't find something to be generally funny, right? We still get the same benefits. And so in laughter yoga, groups of people come together and they practice laughter. There are some laughter exercises. Now, it's really fun to watch these videos, and I'm going to link to some in the show notes. Again, if you're part of the VIP challenge, you're going to get some of these resources delivered to you. But this is something different than that awkward fake social laugh that you might do, right? When someone, who's maybe in a position of power shares a bad joke. This is not that. This is not that where you're like, ha, 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 ha. No, this is full body laughter done on purpose, but done not necessarily in conjunction to something funny. It is a practice. That's laughter yoga. So if your brain is fighting you and say, I would never sit there and laugh like a crazy person, that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to go there. You can choose to find things that are funny. But if you just want to lean into this challenge and keep it very easy, laughter yoga is the way to go. Now, if you need some help, again, you're going to go to YouTube and you're going to type in laughter yoga. You will find the Laughter Guru's channel. You will also find a very awkward video from the Mayo Clinic showing some Mayo Clinic specialists doing laughter yoga together. It's a very small group. It's an instructional video. You're welcome to choose that one. I decided not to go with that one. But I just want you to try it. That's it, right? That's all we have to do. If you show up each day and you practice in laughter yoga, you have met this week's challenge. We're going to spend some time laughing with our whole bodies. Now, I challenge you also to pull up some of these videos and not laugh. I think it would be hard to sit there and not laugh because we are socially wired for connection, right? And in so doing, when we see other people laughing, really laughing, it is hard not to engage with that. We want to feel that benefit. We want to feel that delight. Again, even if there is not necessarily something funny going on. If you want to spend some more time with play, that is another option. We have some benefits there, but I don't want it to be, kind of rote play that doesn't really delight you. If you are like a crossword puzzle person, but it doesn't like light up your brain with joy, it's just like something that you do to pass the time. Nope. We need to get outside of that box. We often struggle to really think about play. And Dr. Stuart Brown is a psychiatrist, and he has created or identified rather 7 properties of play. So if you're someone who needs to know, I'm going to read this out for you. Play has these 7 features. Freedom from time. It allows you to escape from the pressures of time and a schedule. Okay, that sounds pretty foreign. Diminished self-consciousness. That is, you are not trying to look a certain way when you play. You are just really into it. It's got improvisational potential. It fosters creativity and leads to new ideas. You'll see a lot of physicians who are getting into medical improv or non-medical improv, trying to reap that benefit, right? That is a form of play. Continuation of desire. You want to keep doing it. You want to keep doing it once you start. That doesn't mean you don't stop, but it means that there's a little part of you that's like, oh man, when you have to stop or when the game comes to an end. Purposelessness. No, purposeless. Apparently purposeless. That is, play doesn't, do anything. We're not making anything. We're not producing anything. It just is for its own sake. When you pull out a board game and you whoop somebody, there is no benefit really from doing that, right? You're just doing that to have fun. Hopefully that is fun. I don't know. I'm speaking from what my brain finds fun. And it is voluntary, right? Play you have to show up for and want to do it. Now I know that there are times when you get roped into play that you don't want to. If you are a parent or, again, you have fur babies, there are times when you may not feel like playing, right? That is play for others maybe and not play for yourselves. But wouldn't it be nice if you allowed yourself to voluntarily show up for play? You might have to identify, what do I find playful? What meets these criteria for me? That's going to be different from person to person. Those of you who did my Healing Perfectionism in Women Physicians course years ago will remember we used Brene Brown's The Gifts of Imperfection, and she describes the 7 guideposts of wholehearted living called the Guideposts of Imperfection. Number 7 is cultivating play and rest and letting go of exhaustion as a status symbol and productivity and self-worth. That's kind of a mouthful. I will tell you that in this chapter, she shares, do Google the words adult play. Just don't do it. It's a delightful story. You can pick up the book and read it. But I do want to read a little excerpt because as she was studying, and she is a PhD researcher, as she was studying people who live wholeheartedly, this is what she says. She says, at times when I was interviewing people for my research, I felt like an alien, like a visitor trying to figure out the customs and habits of people living lives that looked incredibly different from mine. There were many awkward moments where I struggled to understand what they, the wholehearted, were doing and why. Sometimes the concepts were so foreign to me that I didn't have the language to name them. This was one of those times. I remember telling one of my colleagues, these wholehearted people fool around a lot. She laughed and asked, fool around how? I shrugged, I don't know, they have fun and I don't know what you call it. They hang out and they do fun things. She looked confused. Like, what kind of fun things? Hobbies? Crafts? Sports? Yeah, I replied, kind of like that, but not so organized. Gonna have to dig around some more. Now I look back on that conversation and think, how did I not know what I was seeing? Was I so personally removed from this concept that I couldn't recognize it? It's play. She goes on in the chapter to talk about Dr. Brown and some of the things that he identified and her own struggles to really kind of relax and let go and sink into that idea of purposelessness. It's voluntary. We don't feel like we want to stop. And I think it just resonated with me so much because I feel like that is also something that I can fully identify with. If that's you, great, you're in the right place. This week we're thinking about laughter and play. You can mix it up, okay? There is no right way to do this. If you want to spend some of your days laughing and identify other days that you want to play, go for it, right? There is no worry there. So we want to laugh every day or play or some of each, but we want to have daily doses of delight. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It can just be a few minutes, but I want you to pick things that you find delightful. Now, if you have not started the challenge with us, no worries. You can jump in here, but also if you are someone who likes to go in a straight line, go back to episode 200, which was from October 28th, 2025. You will find the first week of the challenge there. It is also not too late for you to join the VIP Recharge Challenge. That delivers you curated resources every week. It will go in order, and so it will guide you through one step at a time. We are doing 10 weeks and 10 tweaks, 10 intentional little practices to try and help reduce stress, to help improve our lives because it matters, because you matter. So wherever you like to start, if you want to start here, great. If you want to go back to the beginning, you'll get to learn all about yoga nidra, breath, greens. What else have we done? Don't even know. Doesn't matter. It's all in the materials. Oh my goodness. My friends, my perimenopausal brain is just, it just is what it is. But you will find all the information in the show notes. You can also head to my website, which is www.healthierforgood.com. We are doing things to reduce our stress. We can't fix the broken healthcare system. We can absolutely learn to take better care of ourselves, learn to reduce our stress, learn to increase our joy and delight, which is what we are doing this week. We can learn to live better lives. My friends, that's what I have for you this week. Until next time, take care.
Well, that's our show for today. Thank you as always for listening. To learn more about my coaching programs, head to www.healthierforgood.com. And if you love this podcast, please drop us a review on iTunes or support the show by clicking the link in the show notes. Until next time, take care.